Booktube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you are new to me, it's the first time you're seeing my face. Hello, what's up? My name's Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So that's why you're here, because that's what's going to be happening today. If you're not new to me, thank you for always tuning in and the continued support. I really do appreciate it. So today for you, I have my weekly wrap up. This is week 14 and it encompasses dates of April 2nd through April 8th and all my reading shenanigans in between. And I'm going to be perfectly honest, I didn't complete a lot this week. I actually completed one book entirely. I almost finished an audiobook, which I will be finishing up tomorrow, and I started an arc, which I will be doing a full book review on tomorrow. So I only have one actual book that I can really comfortably talk about because I have finished it. So I'm going to tack on to this week's weekly TBR my March book haul. So if you like to skip directly to the book haul, the timestamp is right here. You can just hop to it and you can skip to it if you like, or you can sit back and just enjoy the whole video. So without further ado, grab yourself a drink, have yourself a seat, and let's get talking some books. Okay, let's just dive right in. The first and only book I actually completed this week was Damien by Jacqueline Frank. It looks like this. Now, I started off not really caring about this book. I was pretty much going to say this was going to be a 3, maybe even a 2, because it was starting to piss me off, but this thing turned itself around, and I gave this thing 4 stars. Yes, I did. So, there are now 2 4-star installments in this series. This is the 4th installment to the Nightwalker series, which I am doing, I am reading for the Nightwalker Readalong, which is hosted by Becky over at XOXOXO, Kalani at Kalani Simply Me, and myself. The live show for this book, along with the last 2 installments, will be April 30th at 4 p.m. Central. I think it might be on my channel. It could also possibly be on Becky's. That hasn't been decided yet. And we do have triggers for blood play and graphic sexual content because this is our vampire. Yes, finally the vampiric installment. Quick little summary. This is a direct follow-up of Elijah. You do have to read these books in order to understand the concept of the story because there is an overarching series plot to all of these books. They're about individual couples, but they all tie in together. And in this one, we follow Damien and Serena. Damien is our prince of vampires, and we have met him sporadically throughout the previous installments, but we really got a lot of him towards the end of Elijah, and then of course in this installment. And then we have Serena, who is Sienna's sister from the previous installment. Sienna is the one that ends up with Elijah. She is the queen of lycanthropes, and Serena is her baby sister, who is considered the heir apparent. So if Sienna never has a child, Serena will take over. Serena, at the beginning of the book, is asked to go to the library, the Nightwalker library that has been discovered that we learned about in Elijah. So this is kind of a little bit of a spoiler for Elijah, but like I said, this is a direct follow-up. She's asked to go to this library to help kind of monitor some of the research and diggings, and Damien happens to show up with one of his consorts, Jasmine. And this is the first time we've met Jasmine in this series. Serena needs to take a breather. She just needs to get away. She's kind of more of a lone wolf in her family, as she is a hybrid lycanthrope. She is part falcon and part dolphin. Don't ask me how that fucking combination happens because it's not fucking explained, okay? It's not. I think we kind of sort of figure out that maybe dolphin was her original aspect, but because she was so sick as a child and she needed the Mistral's help, and they turn into birds, that part of their healing got embedded into her, and that's how she became a dual. It's sort of kind of explained, but how that actual combination fucking works, I don't really know. But she favors the bird side most of the time. But she's always feeling an outsider, so she tends to keep to herself a lot and stay alone. So she goes off by herself, which is a really bad fucking idea because Ruth captures her. And Ruth is our villain throughout the entire series. Now, Damien happens to be there and thinks that he's offended her in some way, even though he hasn't. And he goes to find her. Why he gives a shit, he doesn't fucking know. He just knows that she's intriguing to him. And so he goes to find her and realizes there's a struggle and goes to seek her out. One of his talents is being able to track. And there is a lot of blood loss on behalf of Serena. So he traces her blood trail to find her suffering torture. Now, in the lycanthrope culture, their hair being bound is kind of like their power. Their hair is their power. And if it's bound, they can't really breathe. It's almost like suffocation. Serena has suffered having her hair pulled out, so she's profusely bleeding. And although it's really not described how he really gets out, he busts through a wall and he takes her and takes her away, but to save her life, to stop the bleeding, he needs to stop the blood flow, and the only way he knows to do it is to bite her, because as a vampire, yes, he sucks the blood out of people, but his bite also injects a coagulant, and so if he can bite her, feed off of her, enact the coagulant stage, it would stop the bleeding enough for her to be saved. However, it is seriously, seriously taboo in the vampiric culture to take Nightwalker blood. But he does it anyway. He has no idea what's going to fucking happen to him, but he does it because he's just drawn to save her. And by doing this, it has started a chain reaction and a bond that is unbreakable, and that's where our story really kicks off. So what worked? I really like the knight in shining armor concept of this. This is the first installment of the series where we really have a genuine knight in shining armor. Jacob, we have a very small one when Isabella fell out the window when he happens to save her. I mean, who fucking falls out of a goddamn window? I mean, seriously, people, who does? But she did. But this one, he's literally searching her out, rescuing her, saving her life, taking her to people that can actually heal her once he's got the blood to stop. So there is this knight in shining armor kind of concept here, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was fun. It is an overused trope in romance books, but every once in a while it's nice to see it, and I haven't seen it for a while, so for me, I enjoyed it, especially for this installment, because vampires, you know, I like vampires. I personally, they're my favorite breed of Nightwalker, of paranormal creature. They're my favorite. So I like to see them kind of get a happy ending. I think it's great. I really liked Damien as a character for most of the book. I enjoyed his demeanor. I enjoyed the way he thought. He's a very logical creature, so very reminiscent of Gideon, who happens to be like one of his best friends. So it kind of made sense that he was one of the more logical characters. And I really enjoyed that. And when this romance really started, he put the ball in her court. He's like, look, this is how I feel. He was straight up honest about it. Because at this point, we don't know that there is other shit afoot. This one generally starts off with is that he just generally falls for her. And so I'm like, oh, there's not like this fated concept. They're not destined for each other. That's fucking dope. Yes, this is awesome. Thank God. It's genuine. And so he comes right out and says how he feels about her. Like, exactly, like, this is what I want. I want you, da-da-da-da. I can't stop thinking about you, all this other stuff. Now, we know, based off previous installments, there is something else drawing them to each other, but it doesn't look like it and it doesn't read like it, which is really, really nice. So I really like Damien's forwardness and just saying, hey, you need to make your fucking choice. Either you want to be with me or you fucking don't. Make your goddamn choice, because I'm tired of playing around. I'm tired of pussyfooting around. I'm tired of getting mixed signals. Fucking make up your goddamn mind. And I really, really enjoy that. Also, he's a fucking vampire, okay? He's a fucking vampire, which makes him awesome. Hands down. Because vampires rule. I love vampires. They're just fucking cool. With this choice, you do get to see Serena make a really interesting character arc. Now, we've seen Serena in the previous installment where she was kind of a badass, very analytical and logical. She is Sienna's, main advisor for anything in general. So you do know that she has a good head on her shoulders, but if you've ever been kind of dumbfounded by somebody that you're really into, you understand what she's going through. She's kind of like, I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing right now, because I've always been the second born. I've just been expected to do things. People have told me what to do, how to do things. But at the same time, I was raised to be able to make quick decisions on behalf of somebody else. I've never been actually asked to make a decision for my own personal benefit. And so she's lost. She has no idea. And Damien kind of puts it to her. He's just straight up looks at her and says, make your choice. What do you want? And she says, I want you. But she does a simple act of she has this collar that she has to wear. All the license drops do, the royalty does. And it's magic. It expands and contracts with their forms, but only their soulmate is able to take it off, or a member of the tribe, which is their kind of religious hierarchy people. And so she asks him to try to take it off of her, and he just says, no, you need to make this decision whether or not I'm the perfect person for you. You need to make it based on what you know about me and what I've told you. and she's lost, and she hem-haws back and forth. She does give mixed signals, and finally she makes her fucking call. And I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed kind of seeing her strength and then drop, and then at the end of the book really ramp it back up. I really enjoyed not so much an arc, but like this V characteristic that she had going on. I thought it was refreshing for her. And it wasn't such a decline that it was pissing me off. It did get kind of annoying, the back and forth, but it wasn't to the point where I was done. But this is actually the point of the book where I thought it was going to be 2 stars, because I'm like, are you fucking serious? Really? And then we have our moment that just puts it in perspective, and she becomes a badass, and I'm just like, bitch, go. There you go. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. I liked it. So one problem I've had with the series, it's very predictable. And this book does suffer from predictability. There is a predictability factor. There's an easily guessing factor. You know, it's there. But there was one element of this book that I didn't see coming. I thought was going to go a different way. Like, she had it wrote up and built up that it was going to go this way, and it didn't. So I was very surprised by that. I was actually very, very happy about that I guessed this one wrong. Because so far I've guessed majority of the other twists pretty spot on. So I was really, really impressed with that. So I'm anxious to see what happens with that character of Jasmine, who is basically the advisor vampire to Damien. They have been friends for 500 plus years. I believe she genuinely loves him, but they don't actually understand what the concept of love is as vampires, because there is a overarching element with vampires taking blood of other night walkers, which I do know is now going to be a new thread component into this series plot line, which does further get developed in this book. We make it a little bit more dynamic and a little bit more all-encompassing with the other night walkers now, which I really, really enjoyed. I also really enjoyed the fact that this had more of a unity factor. We definitely get to see kind of this united front of the Nightwalkers, of all of them. In this book, there is a huge meeting where they're meeting and they're talking and they're trying to move forward together instead of separated like they have been for hundreds of years. So we're starting to get the culmination of bringing all the factions together instead of fighting each other and being shocked by, like, oh, we're supposed to be together. Now we're like, okay, this is a thing, people. It can happen. Let's just accept it and move the fuck on and start rebuilding our society the way it's supposed to fucking be built, because that's the way it was designed. And now we realize it. So I really enjoyed all of those political machinations that were in this installment. That was really interesting and fun to see. But there was still stuff in this that didn't work. And one of it was the predictability. There was the predictability factor that, you know, when he exchanged blood with her, obviously something was going to get transferred. Yes, it did. There was another piece of the puzzle. It's a vampire. I'm pretty sure she was going to have to take his blood in. Yes, she did. Stuff gets transferred. The same kind of MO of things getting transferred still carried through. You know, not being accepted by his people, not a lot of really predictable elements, but there was some surprises in this one, which was kind of nice. So the bite scene to save her life wasn't very sexualized, but it was still written in, it wasn't a sexual scene, but it was written in a very sexualized tone. She wrote all of the vampiric elements very stereotypically of like this seduction kind of bite. They don't feel anything. It's painless. It feels more like ecstasy and euphoria. So the first bite scene, we did get this kind of sexualized tone, which sets up for their romance. And then it just kind of kept being infused and infused. But it took about 50% of the book before we actually got our first game on. And that was annoying as fuck. I don't like waiting till halfway through the book to get anything other than like a kiss with some biting. Like, damn, really? And the payoff just wasn't strong enough for that wait. It wasn't. It was a unique setup, but the payoff wasn't there. Could have been more graphic. Could have been. And there was a lot of back and forth in this one. There's a lot of will they, won't they, are they going to, are they not, is she going to accept him, is she going to flee from him, is he going to accept her, is he going to keep his promise, is he not going to keep his promises. There was a lot of back and forth on both sides, and it started getting a little irritating. But that was kind of the setup of this book, is that it was more based off of choice. So there was a lot of internal conflict in this, a lot. And since it's being told in third person omniscient, the internal conflict just wasn't as compelling as it would have been told as in first person. So that was a little annoying, but that's just kind of the style and the era of the book. For spice rating, I gave this a 2.5 chili peppers. I mean, there's blood play in it. There's blood transference. It's vampires walking in. You know, it's fucking vampires. There's gonna be some blood. If you are squeamish, don't read the fucking book. If you're not, it's pretty cool. But besides the first hookup scene, everything is pretty much vanilla after that. The first hookup scene is kind of a little violent because she has finally made her choice and she comes to him and he is pissed off and he's like, get the fuck away from me. You had your chance, go. And here's my thing with him is like, you wanted her to make a choice, gave her the time, but because she took one day too fucking long, dude, really? Wow. Cry me a fucking river, you baby. Seriously, get the fuck over it. Don't give her time and then get pissed off because she fucking took it. Like, that's dumb. But this hookup scene is she's coming in and he's mad at her because she made him wait and he was in pain and she was suffering. So he was mad at her for allowing herself to suffer on her own. And it was just this back and forth. And finally, it's just like this immediate like fight and she smacks him and it's like, fuck, game is on. And I'm like, okay, so we got a little bit of, you know, a little more aggressive kind of sex scenes. I'm good. I'm cool. I'm cool with this. And then after the actual first moment kind of happens, it just becomes very vanilla after that. And there's really no more like fire and steam and just like, there's no more of it. And that was kind of annoying. So, but all in all, I did give this 4 stars. I did enjoy this installment. I think I still enjoy, I think I still enjoy Elijah more, which is weird, but I didn't mind this one. I didn't mind this one. So my next one is Noah, and that's the one I'm really looking forward to because he's the Demon King. And right now, I don't know who he's going to hook up with because it's usually very clear who the next couple's going to be in these books. And so far, I haven't seen it. So it might be Jasmine. It might be the Shadow Dweller that we got kind of introduced to, but we never saw Noah and her really do anything together or say anything or acknowledge each other. So who the fuck knows? I don't know. I might be pleasantly surprised. I was surprised in this one. So hopefully the next one I'll be surprised as well. Now, the books that I did start Joey by J.A. Huss, and I'm listening to this on audiobook, and I will be finishing it up very, very soon. So you will see this in my next weekly wrap up. But this is the second installment for the Bossy Brothers series, and it is a MMFM. Yeah, and shit comes out of nowhere. It comes out of fucking nowhere. This book is, I don't even know how to talk about this book right now, so I'm just going to wait till I finish it to really talk about it, but I'm going to have some shit to say about this book because I already have some shit to say about this book, but it doesn't really make sense because the book is still like, we're still in the thick of it right now. I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. So yeah, but so far I'm definitely enjoying it. Definitely enjoying it. Didn't think I was going to, and then shit started happening and I was like, well, all right, sign me the fuck up. Let's go. I am still making my way through House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. I'm still making my way through it. I'm just going to kind of take my time with it because I'm the read-along, SGM read-along is technically done. So I'm just kind of slowly making my way through it. And that's how it goes. And then I am on the ARC team for Amo Jones' new book, Dark Tides, which you'll be seeing a full book review for. It looks like this. You'll be seeing a full book review for it very, very soon because it releases April 10th. So you're going to be seeing that review that day. So if you are watching this after April 10th, I will link it back up here so you can go check it out. If you're watching this before, it will be up at some point in time on April 10th. So, definitely fun. It's the new series that she is starting called the Apothic. I thought it was the Apothic Duet, but in the book it says it's going to be a quartet. and it is a dark romance reverse harem why choose in a surfer kind of setting. And it's so far really good, really weird, very reminiscent of Elite Kings Club, very reminiscent of it. But according to her blurb, this is supposed to put Elite Kings Club to shame. Like, she is gone above and beyond Elite Kings Club in this. So I've seen the similarities. I haven't seen the go above and beyond, but we're going to get there. So now, for my TBR review book, because most of the books on my TBR in April were going to get a review or some kind of special video, I did not offer a list of books to review that you guys could choose for this month. Instead, I gave you a list of videos that I was prepared to release or film and release, and I let you guys choose. So now we're going to take a look and see what you guys chose. This was posted on my community tab, and the choices were... Excuse me, it's going weird. The choices were a bookish pet peeve video or a rant video about all my pet peeves about books in general, their structure, their everything like that, or like tropes or genres and things of that nature. A book soundtrack book recommendation list. So these are books recommended based off of songs. The other one was I'm an open book, so a Q&A. I also offered a great consent rec, so it's all about the yes. And the winner of this poll with the most votes was the bookish pet peeves rant video. So you guys will be seeing a bookish pet peeves video coming up shortly. I don't know if it's gonna be this week. It might be next week because I've got quite a few stuff planned this week because I've got some stuff in the works. So... but you will be seeing a bookish pet peeve video. So that was the winner at 50% of the votes. So, yes. Now, time for the March book haul. It's not very big, but I just wanted to kind of show it off a little bit because you guys might be seeing some of these down the pike very, very soon. So I have 3 Book of the Month books here. The first one was the London Seance Society by Sarah Penner. I have already read one of her books. I read The Apothecary, The Lost Apothecary, and I really enjoyed it, so I definitely wanted to pick this one up. Amid the shrouded parlors of Victorian London, 2 daring women hunt for the truth and justice in a perilous art of conjuring the dead. Sounds awesome. And The Lost Apothecary, I really, really enjoyed that book. It was kind of unique in its telling, so I'm really hoping I'll get the same kind of unique creepy factor in this one. Another one I picked up was The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. I picked this up because I realized when I did my March Birthstone recommendation video, I didn't have a lot of books about pirates or seafaring, so I thought I needed to bump up my collection. So I picked this one, and this, I couldn't tell you what this is about. It had sea and pirates on it, and it looked, the cover intrigued me a lot. Amina al-Sarafi should be content after a storied and scandalous career as one of the Indian Ocean's most notorious pirates. She survived backstabbing rogues, vengeful merchant princes, several husbands, and one actual demon to retire peacefully with her family to a life of piety, motherhood, and absolutely nothing that hints of the supernatural. But when she's tracked down by the obscenely wealthy mother of a former crewman, she's offered a job no bandit could refuse: retrieve her comrade's kidnapped daughter for a kingly sum. The chance to have one last adventure with her crew, do right by an old friend, and win a fortune that will secure her family's future forever. It seems like such an obvious choice that it must be God's will. Alrighty. Sounds interesting. I also just really like this cover. I thought the cover art was really, really pretty on this. So. And then my most recent book of the month pick was Anna Maria and the Fox. This is a historical Victorian romance, and it looked awesome. A forbidden love between Mexican heiress and a shrewd British politician makes a tantalizing Victorian season. Yes. I need some historical romance in my life. I need some. So, those are my book of the month picks for the last couple months. And then the other books I purchased the rest of the Midnight Mayhem series and by Mo Jones, because I'm slowly trying to collect all of her works. So the next one is In Fury Lies Mischief. And then we also have In Silence She Screams. And then the fourth book, In Chaos We Reign. So now I have the rest of this series of this crazy circus harem thing that Emo Jones has got going on. I don't know, her fuckery's out the ass. Like, I have no idea how to really describe her writing. All I know is I fucking eat up all of her shit. Like, I just love her. So yes, these are not the covers I wanted. I really wanted the black and white covers with the people on them, but since the first book I got was the Midnight Circus kind of look, I kind of had to keep them all going. So now I have the rest of this series as well of her, so I'm very, very excited. I just need to get some of her standalones, and then I will own all of her books that are currently out. Yes, and then I can kind of start finishing up her backlist, which is awesome. And this next series I bought as a treat to myself when I reached 500 subscribers. I thought it was kind of unique because there's 5 books. So I bought this series because there was 5 books and I reached 500 subscribers. And that is the By a Sinner series by Michelle Hurd. So I do not know the exact order of them at the top of my head, but I have Stolen by a Sinner, Owned by a Sinner, Taken by a Sinner, which I think is the first one, Captured by a Sinner, and Chosen by a Sinner. So I've got all of these really pretty covers in these guys with suits and ties. And from what I understand, this is a Mafia series, and I've heard really good things about it. And since, you know, I love Mafia romance, I thought I need to have them. I'm really excited. And since the Mafia romance readathon is coming up, I'm prepared. Yes. So, but this is actually my treat to myself for reaching 500 subscribers. I was really, really happy to get this finally because I've been eyeballing them for a while. So, yes, I'm very excited to see these. So, hopefully we'll get to see these soon. I'm planning on it for sure. But that is all I got for you guys this week. It's, like I said, I was a very bad booktuber. I only got 1 book read, but I started some other stuff, and you're going to be seeing a lot of stuff down this week because a lot of irons got put in the fire on like Thursday of last week that kind of like spearheaded a bunch of stuff. So you're going to be seeing a lot of content from me, a lot of reviews coming up very, very soon, like almost back to back. So keep your eyes peeled, and I will see you guys all soon with another video.